Okay, we're going to have another one of our Q&D, quick and dirty videos about the Service Manager Control Panel. In particular, what we want to take a look at here is the details list in order editing. This screen here has all the items on the order listed, and it's used for doing things that involve multiple lines, for example, deleting lines or inserting lines, shipping and unshipping lines, and those kinds of things. So you'll see the top of the screen is typical. It's got the link back to the menu and the link to the to view order information, and then we have our three navigation buttons, so we can go back to the header, to the discounts, or to invoice. And then we have some buttons along the line here. We'll take a look at those in a second. But let's take a look at the data that's actually on the screen. Here's our line number, quantity ordered, quantity shipped, quantity on hand, the item number, which is a link to the view item information screen. This column indicates whether or not this line is hidden on the invoice. And that X, this bold X, indicates that this line will not appear on an invoice when this is invoiced. This is, of course, the description of the item, the unit of measure, the location from which the item is shipped, the category, the mechanic, the price. These prices are, and then of course the extended prices, but those are extended prices for shipped items. There's an extended price total, the tax that's based on shipped items, and then the extended price total including the discount and the tax. Underneath we have any change orders, if there are change orders on the job. We have the change order total. We have the total contract amount, which is the original contract amount plus the change order total. Now down here we've got everything that's been invoiced on it, and these are links to the invoices. If we click these links, we'll see the actual invoice. And then this shows the amount invoiced to date, the amount on the order details left to be invoiced. So this is this number up here, that's amount left to be in this remaining amount to be invoiced, and then it will show us down here whether or not it matches, whether the total contract matches what's been invoiced plus what's left to be invoiced. And if they don't match, you get this red line down here that indicates that something's that the numbers don't add up. Notice also up in here, if we're shipping more than we have on hand, that's in red. So that's why this 2 is in red. We're shipping 3, but we only have 2 on hand. And one more note about the location. Now what the location indicates is simply what physical location does the item come from. And it can affect the inventory asset or balance sheet account, but it does not affect the expense or the revenue. The expense and the revenue accounts are set by these categories. So these are actually expense and revenue categories, and they can be different for each line as well. But let's take a look now for the last thing at the command buttons. We've got a button here to add a new line, and of course it's got the red A. So if you hold the Alt key down and tap A, it'll be the same as clicking this button. That's a convenience, so you don't have to go to the mouse if you when you're moving through this quickly. If you're ready to do billing, for example, you come to the screen, you do Alt A, you'll get a screen to add a new item. You put the quantity on it, the item number on it, and then there's a button to add that and go to the next line. And that's really all that billing requires for service billing and those kinds of things. But we'll take a look at that in our next video. What this button here does is allows us to insert a new line above the selected line. So we can go into this list and we can select a line. So if I select line 5 and I click insert above selected, the line that I add will go ahead of line 5. It will become the new line 5. Okay. Now also we can select all our lines and unselect all our lines with this checkbox that's up in the header here. So if I want to delete the selected lines, I select them all, I click delete selected, and I'll get a confirmation here that tells me you can't delete every line on an order. Also, if I go to delete one line, it will confirm that before the line's deleted. Same with ship selected. If I want to ship all the lines, if I've entered everything on the order and now I just want to ship all the lines, I can turn on the selection and ship all the lines. Same with unselect. I can unship, rather, the selected line. So if I've shipped them by mistake, I can unselect them. Unship them, rather. I can also move lines above other lines. So if I want, say, to move lines 7 and 8, these two transformers, let's say to the top of the order, I can move the selected lines above line 1. I can move them above any line. But let's say I move them above, let's say above line 2. So they'll appear as line 2 and 3 when I make that move. When I click this button, it moves them up to line 2 and 3. So you can manipulate the order anytime later. And the last thing on the button commands is the mechanic setting. I can select all my lines, set all my lines to no mechanic, for example, and now they have no mechanic. Or I can select all my lines, say after the work is done I want to do it in one shot, and select a mechanic. I do it like that, so the mechanic goes to each line. And I think that's it for the order details screen.